Look, stop scrolling YouTube looking for how to play fast, tips and tricks. Take 5 of these and call me in the morning. That's not the way. That's not the way. Let me help you get some speed perspectives. I'm going to show you what I do to improve speeds to ludicrous tempos. And more importantly, how do I make those quick tempos feel like a light jog? Now, before we go any further, the proof's got to be in the pudding, right? I've got a really busy third quarter lined up, and I'm going to have to play some mandolin and some acoustic guitar, do some bluegrass things. And fiddle players and banjo players, they love to kick off their tunes at light speed. I'm talking 165 BPM, 16th notes, cooking, okay? That is really cooking. So to get into shape, one of the things that I do is I overshoot those goals, and I start setting the metronome at crazy tempos, 185, 190, 16ths, maybe even trying to just crazy town and play at 200, even if it's a little rough around the edges. So I took the tune Roanoke, that's an old Bill Monroe tune, and it's always kicked off way too fast. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this at 190. So here's 2 takes at 190 and then 1 at an absolutely mind-bending 200 BPM. Okay, so now the next most important part. You're not really going to play tunes at 190 BPM. That's crazy. And if you are, you're going to be counting it in 8th notes, not 16th notes. So that lowers the pain threshold quite a bit. So how do you improve your playing? Now, the most important thing I can say here is you have to do the work. You have to do the work. You don't get to watch this video once and then complain in the comments section that you can't do it and I'm a terrible teacher and all this kind of BS. Look, the stuff that I teach on my channel is very much conceptual based, a lot of philosophies on playing, a lot of things that maybe need to be paused, rewatched, and dug into at a deeper level with your own practice. I'm not the kind of YouTube channel that's going to go, open up, here comes the airplane, let me hold your hand and spoon feed you something. That's not how I learned to play. And I think if you're here, there's probably a reason that you're here and you want to improve your playing. And there might be a chance that you heard something that I do and you want to know how to do it, or maybe the thought process behind it. So there's a couple of things that I need to establish before we can go any further. One, there is a difference between learning and practicing. Learning means you don't know anything about the process of the song or the lick or the tune. That means you need to acquire the knowledge, the chord structure, the fingerings, the techniques. All of this stuff is learning. That's not practicing. When you have all of that stuff down and you no longer feel like you're learning the piece, then it's time to practice. And part 2 of that dovetails into practice. I practice things at the tempo they need to be executed at, and then through that process, I buff out the rough patches. So if I'm trying to play Roanoke at 150 BPM, I'm going to set the metronome way higher than 115 or 120. Again, you can't do that without doing step one, which is learn it first. You have to learn it first. Then set the metronome within 15 BPM of the target goal. It's going to do you no good to play the tune lower. Let me give you an example. I'm going to teach you how to play Roanoke on the guitar. I would love to teach you how to play it on mandolin because it's a mandolin tune. But I realize most of you people aren't mandolin players, nor do you have a mandolin, so this might be more beneficial. Now, there's going to be a lot of different fingerings that you can use, and thanks to my Patreon community and our live masterclass the other night, we went through several options, and I think this is the best one. Key of G, and it's a bit like a scalular kind of pattern. That's the head of the tune. So I'm going to walk you through it a piece at a time. It's going to be a G major pentatonic thing right at the top. And then we're going to go and walk it down like a scale. So. This is the new downbeat. Okay, one more time. Let's play that at a jog. And if you need to learn it, this is where you pause the video. Again, you have to be the one to do the work. I can't do the work for you, just like nobody can do the work for me. And all your favorite players, the one thing they have in common, they did the work. Here we go, at a light jog. Now let's take that at a walk. All right, now let's do it a little quicker. So now that you know how to play the tune, it's up to you to spend the time to get the feeling under your hands of what it's going to feel like to play it at tempo. Now you're going to experience things where you might want to change the fingerings around. Let me give you an alternate version. That one had an open B. There might be a version where you want to use all closed notes. So the closed note version might look something like this. Okay, so let's talk about the mindset behind it, because this episode is more about a mental game than it is physical dexterity or how do you hold your pick. Some of these questions are a bit arbitrary because if you look at a lot of different bluegrass players across the mandolin and flat picking spectrum, or even let's expand that into great alternate pickers: Al Di Meola, Guthrie Govan, John Petrucci, Tony Rice, Chris Thiele, Sam Bush. All these guys have a different approach in how they hold their hand. So the reality is, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters what it sounds like. So the first challenge is to get it in your head and get the tune down. And then you want to focus all of your mental energy on the sound that it's making over if it looks right. Like that, you see what I'm saying? It sounds kind of crazy when I say it out loud, but the idea is that it's got to feel right. It's got to feel like something that you can do, very much like opening a door or shaking somebody's hand. These are all kind of just different motions. And when you alternate pick, there's not going to be one. It's not like Lord of the Rings where there's one technique to rule them all. Sometimes I feel a little more door turning type of thing. Sometimes it's more of this. The goal is, if I have a tempo in mind, that I'm practicing close to that tempo. And I'm not worried about what something looks like. I'm worried about what something sounds like. That's a totally different thing. The next and maybe the final process in all of this is when you're getting it at speed, that you're practicing it with a groove. Now, the metronome will be a static placed thing. You can push the front of it. You can play behind it. You know, a lot of R&B gospel players, they like to play behind the beat. A lot of bluegrass players, country players, rock and metal players, they like to push the beat. Gives it that intensity. So your goal here is the sound that it's making. And I know this probably is coming across like something that's like, well, yeah, but how do you do it? I know you're probably watching this going, yeah, but tell me how to do it. Time is the answer. Time is the thing that is your biggest ally. If you look at someone like Ted Green and he passed away and he didn't master the guitar. If you look at someone like Eddie Van Halen or Danny Gatton and they passed away and they never mastered the guitar. Chet Atkins passed away. Paco de Lucia. These guys never mastered it. There's still like an ocean of things that they all couldn't do. But they're considered the greatest of all time, right? So if you make peace with the fact that you're not supposed to conquer something by some moment in time, you're just going to play the guitar until it's time to die, right? If you're going to just make peace with that idea, then I think you can really start to see good progress in your playing because you have that no pressure on you to get something conquered or completed. The focus to get to playing fast shouldn't be on speed so much as it is how something feels, the precision, the clarity, the tonal qualities. Tone qualities are things that actually relate to speed directly. If you're getting nice tone and it doesn't sound sticky when you're playing the first couple of notes, that's super comfortable. Right. So those tonal qualities, it's a lot like driving a race car. I always say this. It's like going fast doesn't equal as hard as you can do something. It equals precision, clarity, intent, knowing what the next note is before you hit it, and making sure that things fire at the same time and you don't have this flam type scenario where your pick is hitting the string just before your finger or your finger is hitting the string just before your pick. You want those things to hit at the exact same time. So when you're thinking about attempting these high tempos, so in my opinion, when you're thinking about hitting these high tempos, playing fast is going to be the byproduct of everything that you should be focusing on. And again, this lesson isn't meant to be watched and then all of a sudden you can play fast. It's meant to be implemented into your playing and implemented into your practice time. And practice isn't learning. First, you need to learn the music. Then you practice it and you perfect the sound and the tonal qualities. And then the tempo starts to take care of itself. But again, if you've got your metronome down here at walk level, the hand does not feel like it does when I'm playing it at jog level. That's actually more comfortable. It's more comfortable to play it at the jog level because I kind of got this thing. Be able to put a little swing in there. So when I'm cross picking, I feel more of that doorknob. I'm playing straight lines across the string, maybe 3 notes per string. It feels more like a sewing machine. Both are the right answer because it's about the tone that you're trying to get and trying to accomplish, right? That's my thoughts on this alternate picking stuff. Here's a little bonus. I was going to save this for the Patreon machine, but I'll go ahead and give it to you here. On that second section, you're playing the main theme in like a 6 kind of shape. These double stops that you blues guys may know from, we're going to play it grass style and we're going to have some cross picking involved. Here it is up to tempo in those 6 kind of interval shapes. Now let's learn that slow. And then the tag. One more time. So there's the back half to give you something extra to work on. Again, apply these mental concepts, and I hope that you enjoy this style of music. I know that there's a lot of more rock, blues, metal guys, fusion guys that watch this channel, but the way that I developed a lot of those really adventurous techniques was from this world of bluegrass and how demanding it can be on the mechanical level. I hope this helps, and if not, the video was free anyways, so who cares? All right, time for some housekeeping. Make sure to go to andywoodmusic.com to grab your merch. Yes, we have some new merch. It's pretty swanky. I also have things that are digital based, like Axe Effects patches and backing tracks and those kind of lessony type of things. Also, we have the tour dates there, so if you want to come out and see a live show, whether that be me working with a big artist or my solo stuff, anything in there, that'll be on andywoodmusic.com. If you love the channel, and I hope you do, and you want to support it, think about going over to patreon.com. I have hundreds, probably approaching 1,000 video posts over there, that lessons and tone walkthroughs and all kinds of different exclusive content. Basically, my Patreon members get to dictate what they want to see on the channel, like today's episode. So shout out to my woodshed brethren over there on patreon.com/andywoodmusic. Be blessed. See you next time.